The conditioning principle is specificity of training. Whether the player is a running back accelerating through a hole, a guard pulling around end to block, or a linebacker blitzing the quarterback, the player's success will be largely dependent on speed, power, and agility. The drills on this video are specifically designed to condition football players by focusing on developing speed, power, and agility. The primary objective of conditioning is to improve the energy capacity of an athlete to improve his performance. Many coaches and athletes are confused or misinformed on how to implement the correct conditioning methods for football. Coaches oftentimes evaluate their programs based on what their coach did or according to what the state championship team is doing. Unfortunately, an abundance of football coaches believe doing aerobic distance running in their conditioning program prepares football players for the fourth quarter. Many strength and conditioning coaches also believe in aerobics to build a conditioning base for football. But recent scientific research has shown that building an aerobic base contributes little to the improvement of a football player's performance. There is a physiological reason why a football player trains differently than a distance runner. It is based on the specificity of training principle. When specificity is applied to conditioning, it refers to training the energy system that is used predominantly during performance. To develop a better understanding of how to correctly train football players, we must first look closer at how the energy systems function. Energy is supplied to the muscles through the food we eat. This food cannot be used immediately. It must be broken down into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. ATP is the immediate energy source for all muscle contraction. ATP for muscle contraction is made accessible by the interaction of three energy systems that can be represented by a hydraulic model of three interconnected storage tanks. These tanks are found in each muscle fiber, close to the contractile mechanisms. The energy source is dependent upon the intensity and duration of the exercise. The first tank represents the ATP-PC energy system. ATP can only be supplied and regulated to the muscle via the tap from the first tank. The tap is regulated by nerve stimulation from the central nervous system. High-intensity, short-duration activities, such as the 40-yard dash or snatch, are performed using energy supplied from ATP-PC energy systems. The energy from this source can be supplied immediately, and the amount of force generated by muscle contraction is high. But the amount of energy readily available to muscles is limited. During high-intensity exercise, ATP-PC is depleted within 6 seconds. For example, when running stadium steps as fast as possible, the ATP-PC is depleted within 6 seconds, and the athlete actually starts to slow down. If intense exercise is continued for more than 6 seconds, the energy needed is supplied from the second tank, or the lactic acid energy system. The release of energy supplied to the contractile mechanism is now slower because the opening of the outlet from the second tank is smaller. Therefore, the amount of force generated is reduced. ATP from the second tank is released from the breakdown of glycogen in the absence of oxygen. And through this process, a metabolic byproduct called lactic acid accumulates. The highest accumulation of lactic acid is reached during activities that last from 1 to 3 minutes. If the second tank is emptied, too much lactic acid accumulates in the muscle, which causes pain, a loss of coordination, and force production. The third tank represents the oxygen system. This system is more specific to the slow-twitch muscle fibers used during activities that require endurance over a long duration at low intensity. After about 3 minutes of low-intensity exercise, ATP is almost completely supplied from the third tank. The ATP in the first and second tanks level off. The diameter of the outlet from the third tank is very small, so the flow of ATP is now reduced even more, and the force generated is even less. That is basically how the energy systems function. The first step in setting up a conditioning program is to determine the major energy system football utilizes. It is recognized by the intensity and duration of the activity. So let's analyze a football game. Each play involves an effort of 100% intensity for roughly 5 seconds. The demand for ATP is high, and as the play ends, the first tank is almost completely drained. Between each play, there is an average of 50 seconds rest, which includes timeouts and penalties. The tank fills back up to almost maximum capacity between plays, allowing maximum intensity for the next play. During the next play, the first tank is emptied again and refilled again during the rest between plays. It is the same process with each play. The first tank is emptied and refilled between plays. Therefore, the energy supplied during a football game is almost exclusively from the ATP PC energy system. Step 2 is to implement a conditioning program to develop the ATP PC energy system. Your conditioning program should be based on interval training principles. Interval training is work or exercise followed by a prescribed rest interval. The program must meet the following conditions to be specific for football. It must include work intervals that are intense with a duration of 3 to 8 seconds and rest periods lasting at least 30 seconds. The best way to organize the conditioning program is to set up 4 stations, each station having its own specific drills. Players can be divided according to their position, speed, or body weight. To ensure that the players are using the ATP PC energy system, allow the players a 2-minute rest period between stations to completely recover and to get a drink of water if necessary. The drills should be short and intense, simulating football actions. To increase the intensity of the drill, you will want at least 2 players performing the drill at the same time to compete with each other. As 2 of the players are running, the others are resting. During this time, it helps if the players resting are giving encouragement to the players racing. As 2 players finish, the next 2 should be ready to go. Another method of increasing intensity is to have the coach time each athlete doing the drill. This works best with smaller groups, while racing works best with larger groups. The rest period should be automatically built into the drills. As 1 or 2 athletes are exercising, the rest of the group should be resting. A common training error that coaches make in their conditioning programs is making the rest intervals too short. If the rest period is too short, the amount of ATP replenished is not sufficient to meet the demands of the next maximum intensity effort, and force output will be reduced. This problem is so common that we need to repeat this point. If the rest interval is too short, the force will be reduced, and you train endurance, not power. Drills can be done 4 times a week, with the speed and power drills on Monday and Thursday, and the agility drills on Tuesday and Friday. Keep Wednesday as a day of rest, and always do the speed, power, and agility drills before the strength program. Active flexibility warm-up drills take the players through a full range of motion. If done properly, these drills are demanding, and the players will not need to do the many conventional stretches on the ground. The first warm-up drill is the high knee drill for 10 yards. You should get at least 30 steps in 10 yards. Combine good arm action with the leg action. Next is the heel-up drill. Alternately swing the heel of each foot up to the buttocks for 10 yards. The heel-up drill develops flexibility in the quadriceps. High knees with heel-ups is used to develop flexibility for the sprinting action. Start by doing high knees, then combine with heel-ups for 20 yards. Next is high knees with foreleg extension for 15 yards to improve hamstring flexibility. Make sure to lean forward on this drill so that the hamstrings go through a greater range of motion. The next drill is backward heel-ups, which stretches the hip flexors. Bring the heels up to the buttocks and then reach with the feet as far as you can while moving backwards. This drill can be done for 15 to 20 yards. The karaoke drill develops flexibility in the hips and trunk muscles. Get into a good hitting stance with knees flexed and shoulders facing squarely forward. Make sure to get good hip rotation. This drill can be done for 15 to 20 yards. Speed drills will improve running speed and acceleration. The arm mechanics of sprinting action is often an overlooked factor. If a player has problems with his arm action, he will have problems with his leg action. Sit on the ground with your feet out in front of you. Swing the arms at a 90-degree angle, independent of the shoulders. Coming forward, the hands should come to the side of the face, to the level of the mouth. Keep the body relaxed, especially in the face and shoulders. Build-ups will develop good sprint mechanics. Begin with a standing start and gradually build up speed until you are at full speed at 40 yards, then gradually slow down. After good running mechanics are developed, you can add flying 30s. Gradually build up speed for the first 30 yards. At 30 yards, run as fast as you can for another 30 yards, and then gradually slow down. 10-yard starts can be practiced using a three-point stance, typically used for running the 40-yard dash. Keep the head down and concentrate on staying low by blasting forward. Sprints of 20, 30, and 40 yards are excellent for conditioning and speed development. After each sprint, turn around and walk back to the starting line. This will allow the proper amount of rest and allow maximum effort on every run. Stadium steps will develop explosiveness and stride length. Concentrate on driving off the hind leg, extending completely at the ankles, knees, and hips, and use good arm action. If stadium steps aren't available, hill runs can be added. The harness drill is great to develop acceleration or the ability to get top speed quickly. Exaggerate the forward lean and drive off the hind legs, extending completely at the ankles, knees, and hips. Use good arm action, driving them hard. Power drills are shown in the order of difficulty. Start with the easy one and gradually add the more difficult ones. Gradually increase the number of repetitions that you do in a workout. Power skipping is done by trying to achieve as much height and distance as possible on each skip. Concentrate on driving the knees high. Bounding is simply running with an exaggerated and flowing harmonious action. Explode forward from one leg to the other, achieving maximum distance on each stride. The emphasis is on distance and not speed. The triple jump is another explosive exercise to help develop acceleration. Explosively jump forward and up. Land on one foot and immediately step forward using the momentum from the first jump and land on the other foot. Immediately take off and extend both legs out as far as possible, landing on both feet. Use a single bag for lateral jumps and jump from side to side as you lift your knees to go over the bag. Emphasize making the jumps quickly. Bag jumps are done by hopping over a series of bags stacked too high. Jump with both feet together, lifting the knees as you go over the barriers. Don't stop between each bag. Increase the distance between bags as the drill becomes easier. Single leg power hops help develop starting power and acceleration. Explosively hop as far forward as possible and up, extending the leg. During the time in the air, bring the heel up to the buttocks. Swing the knee forward and land on the foot. Do this for 5 to 10 hops and switch legs. Most agility drills emphasize quick changes of direction and footwork while maintaining control of the body. The ladder drill utilizes quick changes of direction. You can specify whether you want the players to touch the line with their hands or with their feet. Remember to have the players face the same direction as they turn so that they are pushing off with both feet. Use your imagination by using different variations of the ladder drill. Make sure to keep the drills short and explosive. The ladder drill can be done by using the shuffle step or the bear crawl. Another variation is to use the back pedal and go. The pro agility drill is used by many NFL teams to evaluate agility. A 2-point stance or 3-point stance can be used. To begin, straddle the middle line. The player first goes to the right, touches the line with his right hand, sprints back to across the middle line to the far left line and touches it with his left hand. He finishes by sprinting back across the middle line. Always face one direction so that you push off with both the right and left feet. The four-corner drill has 4 cones placed 10 yards apart in a square. Start at the right side of the square and sprint forward to the first cone. Make a reverse pivot by throwing the right shoulder clockwise. Karaoke to the next pylon. Reverse pivot at the second pylon and run backwards to the third pylon. Reverse pivot and karaoke to the finish. On the karaoke legs, you are always facing to the front. For the Nebraska agility drill start in a 3-point stance, sprint around the first cone and make a right-hand turn. Sprint to the second cone and make a left-hand turn. Run to the 5-yard line and touch it with your fingers. Then backpedal across the starting line to the finish. Bag drills are to be done with 6 to 8 bags laying flat on the ground. Run straight through using high knee action. Do not let the feet swing out to the side. Next, move sideways through the bags using a high knee lateral step. Keep the arms pumping as you go through, shoulders square, and eyes looking forward and not down at the bags. The next drill is to move first forward and then backwards through the bags. Keep the eyes looking forward. The shuffle drill is done by going around the bags using a shuffle step. Keep the eyes looking forward. The next drill is called the weave drill. Instead of using a shuffle step, have the players run around the bags, planting the outside foot and making sharp cuts. The next drill is used by linebackers and is called the tap drill. As they go over each bag laterally, they make a pop with their hands on the ends of each bag. A good power drill is to jump over the bags, making 180-degree turns. Continue to alternate directions as you go over the bags. The next bag drill can be used by linemen and running backs alike. It is called the wheel drill. You need 4 bags at 90 degrees from each other. A 5th bag positioned opposite of where the player is to start. Start with both hands in the middle of the bags. Proceed to the right, chopping the feet over each bag while pivoting around on your hands. When both feet are in the same area as you started from, quickly reverse directions and return to the start. Finish by quickly sprinting out of the bags over the 5th bag, which is positioned 2 yards away. A variation of this drill is to start to the right while pivoting only on the left hand, and when the player reverses directions, switch to the right hand, coming back around. The last series of drills are done with a set of ropes. The ropes emphasize good footwork and high knee action. The first drill is to run through every other hole using high knee action. Do not swing the legs out to the side. Keep the eyes looking forward. For quicker foot movement, run through every hole. Keeping the shoulders square, run through the ropes laterally. Pump the arms and keep eyes looking forward. A variation is to move laterally through the ropes, double chopping the feet in every hole. The next drill is the weave drill. If you start off on the left side, put the right foot in the first hole. Run diagonally through the ropes and out the other side. With both feet together, hop diagonally through every other hole to build power in the legs and lateral movement. Make sure the drills are quick and explosive and allow ample rest between each repetition. Proper form is critical in order to derive maximum benefits. Don't sacrifice good technique.
Let's go!